You've spent an hour swiping through dating apps and gotten exactly 0 matches that excited you. Meanwhile, your buddy who looks like he rolled out of bed gets 20 matches a week. The difference isn't luck. It's not even about looks, really. It's about knowing what actually makes someone stop scrolling and think, yeah, I want to know more about this person. Let me show you what's really happening. Your first photo isn't just important. It's everything. Research shows that photos make up over 90% of the decision on whether someone swipes right or left. Most people never even look past your first image. That's brutal, but it's reality. Women form an opinion about you in seconds, and those seconds are spent looking at one thing: that main photo. So what actually works? Forget the bathroom mirror selfie. Forget the car photo where you're trying to look successful. What you need is piercing eyes. That's not poetic nonsense. Dating coaches use that exact term because it describes what happens when you look at the camera with genuine emotion and intention. Not a dead stare, not an Instagram face. Real presence. Natural lighting during golden hour, right after sunrise or before sunset makes you look warm and approachable instead of washed out or shadowy. Real smiles beat heavily filtered photos by 53%. Women can tell when you're faking it or hiding behind editing. Here's where most guys mess up the photo lineup. They throw up 7 random pictures and hope something sticks. That's not strategy. You need 5 to 7 photos total, and each one needs a specific job. After your main photo, you need a half-body shot where you take up about 50 to 60% of the frame. Then an activity photo that shows you doing something interesting and social, not just standing alone at the gym. Next, a dressed-up shot so she can picture what you'd look like on an actual date. Finally, a full-body photo. You don't need head to toe. Knees up works fine. The point is showing your build so there's no surprise when you meet. Activity photos do more than show hobbies. They filter people out. If you're hiking in one of your pictures, outdoorsy women will be drawn in and people who hate nature will swipe left. That saves everyone time. Variety matters too. Different backgrounds, different outfits, different settings. If your first photo is at a cafe, make the second one at the beach or a concert. Show range. Now let's talk about what kills profiles instantly. Old photos. If your pictures are more than 2 or 3 years old, you're catfishing whether you mean to or not. If someone couldn't pick you out of a crowd based on your profile, your photos are either too old or too unclear. And for the love of everything, no cropped-out X's. That phantom arm in the corner of your picture is a massive red flag. Women notice. They always notice. Seasonal photos perform 40 to 50% better right now. Add a couple fresh winter shots. You in a cozy sweater, ice skating, holiday lights in the background. It signals that your profile is active and current, not something you set up 3 years ago and forgot about. But here's something that'll surprise you. Professional photos actually help. You might think they look too polished or try hard. Wrong. A professional photographer knows lighting, angles, and how to make you look like the best version of yourself without looking fake. Over 200,000 people have upgraded their profiles with professional shots and seen immediate results. It's an investment, but so is wasting months on an app getting nowhere. Photos get you the swipe. Your bio gets you the conversation. And this is where everything you think you know is probably backwards. Most guys write bios that are basically resumes. I do this, I like that, I'm into these things. They're trying to prove how interesting they are. Research from UC Berkeley flipped this completely. Women responded way better to profiles that showed curiosity about them instead of listing accomplishments. The underlying psychology is powerful. People care twice as much about feeling known than about knowing you. Read that again. When your bio signals that you actually want to understand her, not just impress her, attraction goes up dramatically. So instead of listing your hobbies like a job application, try this formula. One specific quirky fact, plus your current obsession, plus a playful challenge. Something like, I make restaurant-level ramen at 2 in the morning, trying to hit every national park in 2026. Convince me the next one should be with you. That's specific, it's interesting, and it opens a door for her to respond. End your bio with a question or prompt. Always. It gives her an easy way to start a conversation, which massively boosts your chances of turning that match into an actual chat. Prompts like 2 truths and a lie or we're the same type of weird if work because they're low pressure and fun. The tone of your bio should make someone feel something. Doesn't matter if it's amusement, curiosity, or connection. Just something. The absolute worst thing you can do is fill it with generic statements like, I love to travel and laugh. Who doesn't? That tells her nothing. Get specific. Get engaging. Make her think, okay, this person has a personality. Specificity is your weapon. Don't say you like music. Say you're currently obsessed with a particular band or album. Men who mention country music on Plenty of Fish get 32% more messages. Not because country music is magic, but because it's a specific detail that starts conversations. Shared interests matter, but shared values matter more. 54% of people on dating apps want something serious and long-term. Only 30% are looking for casual. That means most women swiping are trying to figure out if you're worth their time for something real. Be upfront about what you want. It filters out mismatches and attracts people on the same wavelength. Honesty about your lifestyle, beliefs, and intentions saves everyone time. 1 in 4 singles now practice what's called true casting, showing their real self from the first interaction. It reduces guesswork and speeds up whether a connection has potential. Voice prompts are criminally underused. Record a 6 to 10 second clip of you laughing or telling a quick story. Your actual voice is gold. It adds dimension that text and photos can't. Women hear your tone, your energy, your vibe. It makes you real instead of just another profile in the stack. The average person spends 35 minutes a day on dating apps. That's a lot of swiping. Your profile needs to grab attention in seconds, not minutes. Which brings us to what happens after the match. Most guys completely fumble this part. They either wait too long to message, send something generic, or drag out the texting forever without ever meeting up. Women respond to 50% of the first messages they get. Men only hear back 21% of the time. That's a competitive environment. So what makes a message worth responding to? Length matters. The sweet spot is 40 to 90 characters. 1 or 2 sentences, not a novel, not just, hey. Something in between. Messages that include phrases like "you mention" or "notice" that get 50% more responses because they show you actually read her profile. Curious what, your name and good taste also perform well. They signal genuine interest instead of copy-paste spam. Timing matters more than you think. 3 out of 4 people worry about responding too quickly because they don't want to seem desperate. But 52% of users judge fast responses positively. They appreciate it. So don't play games. If you see a message and want to respond, just do it. Here's the move that changes everything. Once you match, shift to voice note or a call within 5 to 10 messages. People who do this meet in real life 3 times faster than those who text endlessly. Why? Because voice builds genuine connection. Text is flat. It's easy to misread tone, easy to lose interest, easy to let conversations die. Voice is human, it's immediate. It cuts through the noise. Now you might be thinking this all sounds great, but what about the actual words I'm using in messages? What about how to keep a conversation going without it fizzling out? That's where most guys lose matches they already had. The strategy for turning matches into dates is completely different from getting the match in the first place. Let's break down what actually works in message conversations. First, avoid the interview trap. Don't just fire off questions one after another like you're conducting research. That's exhausting. Instead, make statements she can react to. If she mentions loving coffee, don't say, "What's your favorite coffee shop?" Say, "I'm convinced cold brew is just a scam to charge more for iced coffee." Now she can agree, disagree, or share her take. It creates dialogue instead of interrogation. Use callback humor. If she mentioned something funny or specific earlier in her profile or in the chat, reference it later. It shows you're paying attention and creates an inside joke between you two. That's connection building in real time. Watch for conversation momentum. If responses are getting shorter or taking longer, don't force it. Either shift the topic or suggest moving off the app. Trying to revive a dying conversation with more questions usually just speeds up the death. Here's what kills conversations faster than anything. Compliments about her looks too early. She knows she's attractive. That's why she gets matches. Commenting on it immediately puts you in the same category as every other guy. Save that energy. Comment on something she said, something she's into, or her sense of humor instead. Stand out by not doing what everyone else does. Another momentum killer is the endless small talk loop. How was your day? What do you do for work? Where are you from? It's boring. She's had that conversation 50 times this week. Break the pattern. Ask something that requires a real answer. What's something you're weirdly competitive about? Or what's a hill you'll die on that most people think is ridiculous? These get actual personality in the responses. Avoid over-explaining yourself. If she asks what you do and you launch into a 5-paragraph essay about your job, your career path, your goals, and your entire professional history, you've lost her. Keep it tight. Give enough to be interesting, but leave room for her to ask follow-ups. Conversation is a dance, not a presentation. Once you've built some rapport through a few messages, make the move. Suggest a voice note exchange or a quick call. Frame it casually. "I'm terrible at texting. Want to just hop on a call for a few minutes?" Or, "Send me a voice note. I want to hear how you actually sound when you're roasting my coffee take." Most women who are genuinely interested will say yes. If she's hesitant or declines, she's either not that into it or not ready. Either way, you've saved yourself days of pointless texting. Now let's talk about what happens when you actually set up a date. The transition from app to in-person is where a lot of guys fumble. They either wait too long, suggest something too intense for a first meeting, or get weirdly formal about it. Keep it simple. Coffee, drinks, a walk in a park. Something low pressure where you can talk and leave easily if it's not clicking. Dinner on a first date is a trap. You're locked in for at least an hour, possibly more, even if you realize in the first 10 minutes there's no vibe. Timing the ask matters. Don't suggest meeting up in the first 3 messages, but also don't text for 3 weeks before mentioning it. The sweet spot is after you've established some rapport, shared a few laughs, and feel like there's actual chemistry. Usually that's somewhere between 10 and 20 messages. If you're past 30 messages and still haven't suggested meeting, you're in the friend zone or the pen pal zone. Neither of those leads to dating. When you do suggest meeting, be specific. Want to grab coffee sometime? Is weak. There's a solid coffee spot near downtown. You free Saturday afternoon? Is better. It shows you've thought about it and you're taking initiative. Women respond to decisiveness. Doesn't mean be controlling or rigid, just don't be vague and passive. If she says she's busy, pay attention to whether she offers an alternative. I can't Saturday, but I'm free Sunday means she's interested. I can't Saturday with nothing else means she's probably not. Don't chase. If someone wants to meet you, they'll make time or suggest another option. If they don't, move on. Before we wrap this up, let's hit on one last thing that separates guys who succeed on dating apps from guys who constantly struggle. Selectivity. If you're swiping right on every single profile hoping something sticks, you're killing your own algorithm. Dating apps track your behavior. Swipe right on everyone and the app assumes you're desperate. It shows your profile to fewer people. Swipe more selectively and the algorithm treats your profile as higher value. Plus, you'll actually match with people you're genuinely interested in instead of random profiles you swiped on autopilot. Quality over quantity applies to everything. Better to have 5 great photos than 10 mediocre ones. Better to send 5 thoughtful messages a day than 50 generic ones. Better to go on 2 dates with women you're actually excited about than 10 dates with people you're lukewarm on. Focus beats volume every time. One more tactical thing. Update your profile regularly. Swap out a photo every few weeks. Change a prompt answer. Dating apps reward active users. If your profile has been identical for 6 months, it's getting buried. Fresh content signals to the algorithm that you're engaged, and it shows your profile to more people. Plus, it gives you an excuse to think about whether your profile is actually representing who you are right now. Look, none of this is about becoming someone you're not or playing games. It's about showing up as your actual best self and making it easy for the right person to notice. Dating apps are just a tool. Use them smart, stay authentic, and don't take rejection personally. Everyone's swiping through hundreds of profiles. Sometimes timing is everything. Keep your profile sharp, your messages real, and your expectations grounded. That's how you actually meet someone worth meeting.